Okay, this is a fresh canvas. Kind of gonna get started. Drawing here. Kind of use as a point of departure in case I get too lost, which I'm lost to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. Have no idea what I'm doing. Just gonna find out. I got some pencil lines up here, so at least I know. Start here with. This is the way I measure. That looks about right. That was tempera paint, now it's acrylic paint. So we were talking about Roplex before. This is, it's called acrylic. Acrylex, just another brand name, same thing. So let's see. So to give me some kind of idea of what's gonna be taking place later. Who knows? It might even end up being in the final show. You never know. Make sure you color in the lines, not outside. The biggest danger in painting is when you step off the ladder. You gotta be careful that you're near the floor. Build up and be hard to get rid of. Okay, it's a sort of start. Start tweaking it from there. Probably start working on moving it a little more, making sure there's not a lot of leaning shapes, more like, so the shapes are purely vertical and horizontal. So I want these shapes to sort of start to stack up against each other, just like stack in like buildings do, like in the city, like how you see these vertical, horizontal right angles and sort of in front of you all the time. That's the kind of feeling I'm trying to get in these paintings. All right. Okay, I don't want to rush it. Because I kind of have it at some place right now where I want to give it some thought before I move too fast on it. Hey, I like it.
Me too.
So far. All right. It's where we're gonna leave it for the time being. Gonna look at it for a while, think about it, and I don't really know exactly what the next move is, but try to keep it open. The idea is to try to keep it open. Don't get it closed down too quick. You know, to make to me. And if you notice, always kind of work away from the center. Try to kind of keep the activity in the center kind of opened up and moving away, so it doesn't get all closed down in the center. Yeah, I kind of see a lot of things that, you know, need to kind of start to begin to happen now, but they're just a lot of complex things now. Right now, it's just almost I got to like sift through it, think about it, just look at it. But I can see what needs to generally start to happen, and it's just so much. This painting's like, there's a lot of work to do to get it, you know, filled out. It's just, but the fun thing about painting sometimes is like the beginning of it can be really fun, you know. I mean, it gets, and then you just start to have to, and it's tempting sometimes to leave that, you know, beginning if everything sort of starts to work nicely enough, you know, you almost are tempted sometimes to leave them usually the more successful ones and more powerful ones result from a lot of pushing it through. And that's what this one feels like it's going to be. So, work on it for a while. Next thing I'm going to do is like it'll probably really take the painting out of tune, kind of, not to use a musical metaphor, I guess it's going to kind of throw it into some place where some part of the painting will jump out, but then I'll adjust that and let that. I've got this idea about something that I want underneath something else. So, and then get back into some of those reds with some oil paint, like probably a cadmium red light, maybe a cadmium red medium, maybe a mix. So it's one of those cases where it needs something to happen there. But I can kind of see where this painting's going, and that's a good feeling. I don't want to be too, I don't want to be too certain. I like that red. I like those the kind of raw quality the red has. But I'm going to get back into it some, working some near the edges. I'm going to work back in there with some oil paint, some red oil paint, very close to that red. I'll mix a red very close to that. The probably most important thing for me to do is to look now at the painting for some period of time and just not so much think about it, but just let thoughts come to me about the painting, and some things that are not even occurring to me now might sort of be there. Although I have some thoughts, some rather specific things in mind to do to the painting, but I want to think about them a little more and kind of run them, try to visualize some of the outcome. Although I'm never able really to do that. lay in a little bit more of this yellow, a little heavier paint in medium. And I'm just mixing in 2 yellows here just to break this up here. Whoop, we lost a little bit of that. Measure it out. Like that viscosity there. Okay, that's kind of finished for now. Gonna kind of call that quits for the time being. It's subtle, but I actually made considerable. I made a good bit of change in that. It brought that yellow up a lot more. It was kind of thin through there. It wasn't holding its own, especially here, up in here, and up in there. Some of that up in there. And this is a little stronger. Now, the painting kind of speaks to you, you know. You just have to look at it, and pay attention, and it'll sort of take you where it needs to go.
How can you tell when it's done?
Oh, it's kind of like filling a container. When it gets full, you know it. But there's always some question. I kind of like to leave the painting sort of a little open-ended, kind of unfinished, not quite full. But this painting's pretty much there. it's fun, you know, to walk into a room of energetic paintings like that.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. There's just, they're hanging on the wall and there's nothing there except that painting. It's got nice space around it. And then there's another one, say, over here, you know, like boom. And another one over here, you know. It's just a visual experience, you know. It's like, I hardly ever am working on them when they're hanging them. I'm usually finished by that time. So, you know, that once you get them up on the wall, you see a group of paintings together, you learn things, and that sort of takes you into something that might be kind of new ground for you, for yourself. So there are times when a painting just can't seem to get finished or can't get resolved, and that you know, can be frustrating. Yeah, absolutely. And there's always a certain amount of frustration in production of a piece. You know, you run across problems, but that's what it's about. It's making a painting basically is just problem solving. It's just taking a blank surface and making a powerful and compelling image. That doesn't necessarily just come together, you know, that easily always. Sometimes it comes easier than others.